What are you working on now? What is the which property or which site are you excited about?
We've got so many that we're working on.
Then keep left onto D Street Northwest.
I would say one of the exciting projects is our stewardship planning work at the childhood home of Nina Simone
Use the right
in
lane to keep left onto D
Tryon,
Street
North
Northwest.
Carolina. Our work to help preserve
Keep left, then turn right.
the home and place where
Use the right lane to turn onto D Street Northwest.
John Coltrane composed one of his greatest masterpieces, Love Supreme. And that same place where Alice recorded her first 5 albums in their basement studio. And it's a place of black joy.
You also have
And
Nina
love.
Simone's place, don't you?
Yeah, and I think what's beautiful is it's just this humble 3-room, vernacular piece of architecture. And at first glance, you wouldn't expect that there would be meaning and history there. But when you pull back the layers and discover that this is where an activist was born, where a musician would learn to play the piano. And of course, Nina Simone would transcend the constraints placed on black female performers in the mid-20th century to become the voice of the American Civil Rights Movement. She is an
In half a
icon.
mile, turn left onto First Street Northeast.
So places imbued with those kinds of legacies can inspire the next generation of creatives
Mm-hmm.
and activists to continue the important work of envisioning historic revolutions in music, finding new forms of activism and social justice. And so me and my colleagues are blessed to be able to lead this work nationally through the African American Cultural Heritage Action Fund, which is a program at the National Trust for Historic Preservation.
When did you first discover Nina Simone? Do you remember?
Yeah, so this was a couple of years ago, and a friend, colleague, who currently is at the Mellon Foundation, his name is Justin Garrett Moore, and he made an introduction to Adam Pendleton, who was one of the 4 artists behind saving Nina Simone's childhood home. And I took the train up to New York, met with Adam in his studio, and really made a pitch that the National Trust was equipped and would be a good partner to support the artist in developing a stewardship plan for the long-term protection and activation of her home. And so we partnered for the last several years, and I'm glad to say that we have protected
At the light, turn right.
her
onto
home in
Columbus Circle
perpetuity
Northeast.
with the preservation
Then turn
easement.
left.
So it will forever stand on the American landscape. And we are currently finalizing a programmatic vision for reusing the site. And the long-term goal is to find a steward, potentially like the National Trust, and to have an endowment that would cover long-term maintenance, programming, and operations. So Nina Simone's legacy will forever live on in Tryon.
So, what are you heading now? You heading to New York?
Yeah, so I'm headed to New York, about to take the Amtrak,
At the light, use the left 2
and
lanes to
I
turn
have a
onto
meeting
Columbus Circle
with
Northeast. Then arrive at your
Dr.
destination.
Beverly Prince, who has owned the Langston Hughes house, which sits in Harlem, and she's owned it since 1985. And when I first met Dr. Prince, and she tells these really magnificent stories, I mean, she owned the property during the crack epidemic. And she's literally seen the decline and, the rebirth of Harlem. And her deep concern is she wants to ensure that Langston Hughes's house
Arrive at Amtrak Washington Union Station.
and his
Arrived.
cultural memory is forever stewarded and remembered by our nation. And so our work is around stewardship planning, estate planning, to help her and her family make decisions about the future of the site.